Well, aloha and good afternoon and welcome to today's video, which I'm seeing a small circle of doom. I think we're going. And hopefully I will be able to see the comments as they appear. So today I'm talking about the power of the power of the present moment, the power of now. And the reason I think this is important because it's so easy to live in the past. It's so easy to live in these things that have happened to me, and this makes me who I am, and this is why I live in the way that I do. And very often, by implication, because I had a terrible childhood, I'm having a terrible life now. It's easy to live in the future. Well, I can't do this until, or if this happens, then I could do that. But actually, the real power is right now. So, how does that work? Well, in the moment, hi Marilyn, right now, in the moment, is a concept that if you look across all the traditions, whether you're looking at the religious traditions like Hinduism or Buddhism, if you're looking at Huna, the Hawaiian spirituality that I teach, or even if you're looking at quantum physics, all there is actually is now. Because our memories from the past, every time we reconnect with a memory from the past, we actually change it. We change it in subtle ways, we add things, we take things out, but our memory is never the same as the actual event as it actually happens. When you think about the future, well, the future hasn't yet happened, so you can't actually know how the future is going to turn out. All we have is this present moment experience, this thing that we're feeling right here, here and now. So as you're listening to my voice or watching the video, that's the present moment. That's the moment that you're in. We are back when I first studied NLP, they would say that we were receiving something like 2 million bits per second of information coming in through our senses all the time, every second, 2 million bits. They've upped that estimation now to something like 40 million bits per second. That's a lot of data coming in through our senses. But this 40 million bits per second, we don't have the capacity to process it at a conscious level. Our capacity is very small. It's, depending who you read, it's 125 bits, it's 136 bits per second. Doesn't really matter about the numbers. The point is, on the one hand, there's a lot of data coming in, and on the other hand, at a conscious level at least, we're not very good at processing it. So we have to delete a lot of it. We have to find ways to get rid of it. We generalize. So we have one experience, and that one experience means that it's true for all time. So I say something to a friend, and my friend turns around and says, "Oh, Jane, you're so difficult to be around." And suddenly in my head I've interpreted and generalized that out. I'm difficult to be around. That is now my experience, and I start filtering everything by I'm difficult to be around. Hi Pam. So we generalize, we delete stuff, we just completely delete it. It didn't happen. I don't know about you, but I've had plenty of experiences where friends we've been talking about an event and said, "Oh yeah, and Jane, you said this and you did that," and I'm thinking, really? I don't remember that. I don't remember it at all. Even people tell me about events where I was, and I don't even remember being at the event. Now, this might just be a 60 plus thing, but actually it's been going on a while. We delete stuff. And we also, we distort stuff. We change the memory to suit what we expect. So if I'm expecting that it's going to be a beautiful day, I'm going to translate, everything's going to be seen through the filter, it's a beautiful day. So we do all these things to cope with the fact that there's all this information coming in and we're not really set up to handle it. Oh, I'm so glad you don't find me difficult, Pam. So we change our memories. The memory is never the same in the present moment as whatever it was that we experienced in the past. Now, with all this information coming in, with all this data coming in, it's very easy to put interesting filters which determine how we do all this deletion, this generalization and this distortion and this deletion, how we get rid of all this stuff that we can't cope with. And these filters are past experiences, these filters are past memories, these filters are the way that we think about time, these filters are the things that we say to ourselves in our head. Even our physical behavior can be a filter. So the present moment experience, we can actually change the way we experience things in the present. It is the only thing we've got, but we can actually change the way we experience things by changing the way we think about life, by changing the way we think about our memories. Because if you take, and they've done this, there have been experiments or studies, they're twin studies, and they've taken twins who've grown up in the same household, or members of the same family, grown up in the same household, coming from abusive households or households where there's a lot of poverty. One sibling will be incredibly successful. One sibling will be a drug addict, for example. You ask each of them, you ask the successful sibling, how come you're successful? Well, with the terrible childhood that I had to be successful in order to get over it. You turn to the drug addict sibling, how come you're a drug addict? Well, with the terrible childhood I had, it's not surprising that I'm a drug addict because I just had such a terrible childhood. So how we interpret those memories, how we interpret that past, definitely influences our present moment experience. But the question is, which present moment experience do you really want? Do you want to have the victim present moment experience, or do you want to have a present moment experience that's vibrant and that is successful, whatever that means for you, that is happy? Because whatever else we can or can't do, we have the power to decide how we want to react to the past. And we can change that at any moment, moment by moment, we can change that. But of course, that means that you've got to be in tune with what you're experiencing in the present. And it's so easy when we get into our stuff, when we get into our baggage, it's so easy to lose sight of that control that we have and to get sucked in by our baggage. And it stops us from having our experiences in the way that we want to have them. So I do a lot of work with people around this whole question of, there's the baggage, how can I have a different experience? And a lot of it is about healing up our old beliefs, healing up our old experiences, forgiving the people who really hurt us. Forgiveness is such a powerful piece in this whole equation, because as you do that, you start to change those filters that I talked about. You start to change the rules by which you evaluate the world, because all the time we're evaluating the world by rules in our head. If I think that there was a girl that I was at school with, and she had red hair, and she was called Anne, and I didn't like her very much. And for years, anybody with red hair called Anne, I would judge them, because I would compare them against this girl at school that I didn't like very much. And it wasn't until I actually woke up and realised what I was doing, and I was like, oh my. Now I have friends and clients who are redheaded and called Anne, and they're lovely. But I had to make that switch, because I'd just been running this filter in my head. I'd been running this rule in my head and always evaluating women with red hair called Anne in a negative way. So we set up these rules. So one step is become conscious of the rules that you run your life by. Be conscious of the rules that you're judging other people by. And the more conscious you become, the more you become aware of how those rules are actually affecting your behavior and affecting your experience. So get conscious about how those rules and how you're judging people. Get conscious of what you can change in the present moment that changes your experience. So your physical posture can change your experience. I've talked about this before on a number of videos, but when we physically, we're closed in, or we're like this, or we're doing a lot of sitting down, It affects our energy levels. It affects the way we feel. When we sit up, when we open up, when we move a bit more, when we get outside, it literally changes what's going on in here. So changing your physiology, changing your whether you're being active, changing whether you're sitting around, changing the rules that you've got in here, all these things can change the experience in the present moment. And the real catalyst for all this is this awareness. What is it that gives me energy? What are the things that I can do if I'm feeling a bit down and a bit depressed? What are the things that I can do that will give me energy? What are the filters? What are the rules that I can change? The voices in my head, because we all do have little voices in our heads. And for some of us, there's that little voice, the critic, the inner critic, who every time you set out to do something, you have a great idea and you want to go out and do something new. You want to take on a new hobby. And the little voice goes in your head, goes, yeah, you're never going to be any good at that. Who do you think you are to be doing that? And we listen to that little voice in the head. The more you become conscious, the more you become aware of the kind of things that the little voices in your head will say to you, or the little voice in your head says to you, then you can start to work with that awareness and change the voice in your head and change the experience. Or say to the voice in your head, you know what? I really appreciate what you're telling me, and I'm going to give it a go anyway, because it might just possibly be fun, or it might just possibly be a brilliant experience. Opening yourself up to possibility. That's another way of changing that experience, changing that which happens in the present moment, having this attitude of possibility and this attitude of, yeah, it could be. How amazing can it be when I change the way I think, when I change what I say to myself, and when I go, yes, that was my past. That was what happened in my past. But that was then, and this is now. And I want to live in the now and be empowered and not be held back, not be chained, not be pulled down by the experiences that I once used to have. So if you want to know more, then do get in touch. You can contact me with the secretartofhuna.com/diary to book an appointment. And if you've liked what I've been talking about, do put a comment down below, because it's always good to see whether what I'm sharing is useful, whether what I'm sharing is interesting, or whether you'd prefer I talked about something completely different. You won't shut me up altogether, because I'm just on a mission to do this. But if you want me to talk about other things, then let me know. And if I can, I will. Enjoy the present moment. Enjoy the day, whatever it's shaping up to be. And yeah, have that awareness. Just be there. And I will talk to you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care. Lots of love.